I'm Prashanth Venkatesh in grade 11 IBDP 1 in Dubai. In my meetings with Odysseus, my mentor in the one-on-one program, so we followed a pretty good progressive path. So we started off by initially brainstorming different ideas. And since we're trying to do an AI project, our way of going over this was seeing some ideas of interest, which in this case was AI and finance for my project, which is about using AI to help predict loans. So for this, we started browsing through different data sets on Kaggle, trying to find exactly how we can get something good to make an AI model to write a research paper on. And then we eventually found a good data set. And then we started morphing the general concept of what we had to write around this data set. So then we ended up somewhere where we were able to say that we're using AI to help banks predict whether an individual, a customer, is going to predict on his loan, default on his loan or not. Sorry. Now, after this, we started off by focusing on the code. So once we get the code done and out of the way, we get the entire methodology of how is the paper formatted, because we know the different elements we've used, and then we know the results we're getting to shape the paper around it. So we spent a good few sessions making sure that the code was understood. Whenever there was any doubts I had, it was always immediately clarified. In between sessions, I was also asked to work on small parts of the paper, like the introduction, and then what kind of materials we're working on. We also worked on an algorithm in between, which is in this interesting part because this is something new I've done. This is a proper like algorithm that we formatted through formally for the paper, and we used and implemented the code for that. Now, he did let me have a shot at it myself, and if there were any errors or anything I wasn't able to go around, I got expert advice and help for that. Then eventually we had the paper ready, and then we were having to format it in different ways. So we generally followed an introduction, materials and methods, discussion, results, and then yeah, that's it for our paper. But then obviously different journals. Eventually the journal I published in was a curious academic journal. I'd applied to JEI, JHSS, and CAJ, but CAJ accepted me first. Now JEI had a lot of different times where they kept getting back to me and then I had to send back to them. And each of these times, Odysseus, he was always there to help me and make me understand what do I have to do, how to get this going back, fixing the errors we needed. And at the end, this was a back and forth process, but CAJ at one go just said, it's good. They gave us the green light. So we went ahead with CAJ. And yeah, the experience was good. It took around 19 to 20 sessions for us to finish the entire research project. There is the enjoyment you get when you click submit, you know you're done for that one, right? That's always fun. It was sometimes annoying when you have to make minor tweaks in your paper just to fit it to the next journal. And then I had like, bullet point numbers. So like part one would be one, this would be two. So for those changes, you had to redo the entire thing. But that's fine. The fun part was just being able to like get it done with. And at the same time, any minor tweaks and changes, understanding the new journal. And then sometimes we had to just like modify small parts of our paper, the text. Just these additions, these discussions were always, they helped me learn a bit more about some stuff, which could have been not required for the other journal. So through submitting to another journal, I was able to learn one or two new things about how papers are formatted, etc., which was quite nice to learn. Oh, well, research was one of, so I'm applying to some pretty good colleges, and when I apply, obviously research is one of the stuff that you need to show. Well, not need, but it's nice to show to universities because it helps them understand your capabilities, and especially if you're a STEM student in a scientific lab environment, what are your capabilities practically speaking, right? And now I'm focusing on a few internships. Now, as part of my curriculum, IB does require you to do like a research project. So this is a really, really good, especially for IB students, I highly recommend this because it's a good background information practice that you get to write what's called your extended essay in IB, which is pretty much a research project that you have to write. So in any of your STEM subjects or humanities or any subject. So it's a really good background that will really help me when I have to write my extended essay in IB. And that's one thing I'm really happy with this because it's given me pretty much an entire mock run through of how to write a research paper that is able to get into a good journal, is which is pretty much what I have to do for my extended essay in IB.